applied to a lot of accelerators, mainly YC, which is like the staple for startups. Didn't get in for really clear reasons, thinking retrospectively. But Madworks has been great. I think what we really needed this entire time was mentorship.
Hey everyone, and welcome back to the Startup Wisconsin podcast. Today we're diving deep into the world of AI-powered sales training with Nati Fett and Colin Guest, the co-founders of Syrenn. Syrenn is a Madison-based startup that's tackling a challenge most sales teams know all too well. How do you actually get better at high-stakes conversations? You know those moments where you feel like the words really matter? Whether it's a complex B2B sales call, a discovery session, or any situation where you feel like the stakes are high, and traditional role-playing just isn't cutting it. What makes Syrenn interesting is their approach to this problem. Instead of another learning management system or basic roleplay tool, they built what they call a learning in the arena, not the stands approach, giving sales reps a way to practice with AI-powered scenarios that feel real and actually help them improve their conversational skills. Both Nati and Colin bring technical backgrounds to this challenge, and they've been a part of the Madworks Accelerator Program in Madison, which ties back nicely to our conversation with Beth Ott from Starting Block in our last episode. In our conversation, we talk about what it's really like building a company as co-founders, their experience going door to door at gyms and car dealerships to understand how sales training actually works, and what they've learned about Madison's startup ecosystem. We also dig into their first customer win, their thoughts on using AI coding tools like Cursor, and what they think could make Wisconsin an even better place to build a startup. So let's jump into my conversation with Nati and Colin from Syrenn.
Just like to put this in an example. Syrenn can help sales managers basically remove themselves as a potential bottleneck in training. What we've been hearing from sales managers is that if they want to do role play with their reps to train them up, which is what we find them doing, that is actually a huge thing that we didn't know was happening when we first started, that they'll be the ones role playing with the new sales rep. So, no sales manager went to Juilliard, like they're not professional actors. So, being able to give them this tool to like enhance their creativity and do all that is like really, really helpful.
So CTO, I'm kind of curious, like what is your day-to-day like, I guess, or even I'm actually curious, like, how did you kind of get started with from it? There's like the AI part of it. There's obviously like the user interface part of it. I'm kind of curious, how did you guys kind of, I guess, tackle making it a real thing?
Yeah, so really a lot of trial and error. We both have backgrounds in technical consulting. So I have a formal education in computer science. Colin doesn't, but he's really well-versed in self-taught, well-versed in coding. And back to that trial and error, we really started with just a graphical interface, and we went actually to a conference out in San Francisco and just walked around with a very crude mock-up of what we were trying to do, a bit of infrastructure in the back end, and some very basic UI interface there. Yeah. Anything else you'd like to add there?
Yeah, we just failed a lot. We just had like one less stupid idea after another. And then we unfortunately, we pivoted a few times, and then we unfortunately found ourselves with another solution in search of a problem. Like the classic route we took was, we have an idea, let's build it. Not, we have an idea, let's validate that idea. So we would build, and then we would try the market. And we had on the third try, we basically had this voice AI agent in like a very general sense. And we knew we wanted to give it to a B2B sort of customer. It was just the big question we were struggling with was, who would be the role or person within a business who could benefit most from working on their sales conversation, or their conversational skills. And after, like, we saw there was competition in sales, there are already other vendors doing this. And so I made the mistake of really pushing hard that we try other sorts of roles outside of sales. So we were at first role agnostic, and that was our big spin, right? But it was like boiling in an ocean. So that really didn't work. Then we touched on our old roles as technical consultants. We knew that being a technical consultant, you had to have good conversational skills. But we found that the consulting industry, they're not actually incentivized to be the best communicator. Like the best communicators aren't the best consultants. The best consultants are the consultants who bill the most hours, like from the company's perspective. And that's like the way that they're incentivized. And there's kind of mixtures of both. But then after that, we kind of just landed on sales, because if you can't talk to people, you're toast.
So was there like a specific moment where you're like, oh, we're going to lean into sales? Or was it just like, kind of like you said, like we were trying to be super agnostic? And then, but was there a specific moment where you're like having a conversation, you're like, we need to lean into sales? Like this makes sense.
I think there were a couple of moments. Well, funny enough, most conversations we had prior to picking sales as our target market ended with the prospect saying, hey, you should try this in sales. It'd probably make more sense.
Yeah.
And we, I think, stupidly ignored that probably 9 times. And on the 10th time, we're like, okay, we should probably look into this.
Yeah. And our basic retort to that was always like, oh, other people are doing this for sales. And in my mind, when I heard that, I was very dogmatic in the sense that if you want to build a good startup, you want to have this sort of like, I'm an N of one company. And so I have this monopoly power. And just in like where we were at, and like that's an ideal to strive for, but like where we were at, this is our 3rd try, right? And like we had built this solution out pretty nicely, like voice AI. It's like you need to just sacrifice that. So there's a little bit of like a ideological, like,
I think we quickly figure out that novelty doesn't mean you will succeed.
Yeah.
Just because something is new doesn't mean everyone's going to want it.
Mm-hmm.
It's not a terrible thing if the market's already validated by some other vendors.
Yeah. I mean, I'm sure like, you know, when you're a founder, like you have like this vision and you're like, oh, I want to do this, or like, we can do this. Like, we'll prove everybody wrong. Like, was there like kind of like an internal moment of processing, like, oh, well, we can't do what we wanted to do, so now we have to do this? Or is it like, was it just like, no, we're just going to pivot and this is totally fine? Like, I don't know.
I think seriously, the first 2 pivots, we probably grappled with that. By the 3rd time, we're like, all right, we're kind of pros at, you know, failing forwards and kind of the path we took. I don't know how you felt.
Yeah. I felt the same way.
Okay.
Like, I don't think that we're the types of founders to be beholden to our initial idea. And we knew that going in. Like, I think the first idea was the one we actually didn't try. It was the one that unified us.
Yeah.
But, it was one where we first validated the market and then didn't build it because we didn't validate the market. So then we knew we wanted to work together. But we were just like, all right, let's find out what we can build, you know?
I'm curious around about like your backgrounds. So, and then kind of how you guys met. And then was there like a moment where you're like, oh, like let's do something together and like build a business together? Maybe talk about that a little bit. I don't know, whoever wants to kind of go first.
Yeah. So we both worked for a software vendor company as tech consultants, as we said. And we actually, Colin was spearheading an AI project within the company. And he was kind of recruiting people to join and help him out. I think I just saw a random email. One of my buddies at that work had joined up, and I'm like, okay, this sounds interesting. I'm kind of a fan of AI, or at least in its very early stages. I was not a pro by any means, but you know, would learn on the fly. And yeah, that project ended up going really well. We built a internal tool that really helped the company. I don't think it got as much satisfaction from the higher ups as we thought it would, but
Yeah.
it was providing some value, and it was really cool to work with Colin and see, you know, all those, you know, great traits that he has that now I see like it works really well as a co-founder. but yeah, I had in my mind that I was going to leave the company back in February of 24 and to pursue a startup of my own. And actually the day that my last day at working at that company, Colin pulled me aside. He's like, hey, you want to just like grab a drink after work today? I'm like, sure. And we went to a Long Table actually out in Middleton, and we just chatted it up. I told him about my startup idea, and he's like, all right, I'm down. That's pretty much it.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well said. Yeah.
All right. You don't have any other thoughts to share on that, or?
Well, just like the that we basically got to start a startup within a company together, and that was really cool. And our company allowed us to we were consultants, and so we were in charge of the hours that we build within reason. So if we like hit like our weekly quota, we were able to work on internal projects for a portion of that week. And so we just chose to work on, we called it Eskerbot.
Yeah.
It was like a AI RAG chatbot, retrieval augmented generation. So we basically fed it all of our like internal knowledge on consulting, which is this huge body of knowledge. And then you were able to like search it. So imagine like Google search, but just for your own, or ChatGPT, but for just your own company.
Yeah. It's like making a custom GPT, upload PDFs and all that kind of stuff. Very similar, and say, don't reference the internet, only reference this.
You got it.
Exactly.
Yeah. So it was pretty early on, like in that era, like, whereas now you could do that like within a weekend.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And that's the thing too, is like with the pace of things, I'm sure that's probably a challenge for you guys with your competitors and with the industry in general, is that within every 2 to 3 months, there's some kind of announcement of like a new capability or a new thing. And so, how are you guys kind of like approaching that, where like if there's maybe a new model or something like that, like how do you guys approach it, I guess?
Yeah.
The pace is so fast.
That's definitely something we've constantly gone back to, and it's really been pretty advantageous for us. We reap a lot of the rewards of the models getting better. In our infrastructure, we just literally, I think, change maybe a handful of lines and we can be on the latest and the greatest. So that's good. On the competitor side, that's something that we also do think about. It's really easy to replicate, a good chunk of what we have. And I think finding out where our moat is, that's something we're working towards.
Yeah. Nice. When you guys kind of leaned into sales, was there like a little bit of a learning curve, like meeting with sales teams, like here's how they currently operate and train? Like maybe talk through that a little bit. Like once you kind of found like, hey, we're going to go after sales, like you probably had an idea of like, here's how it's going to work in the interface. And then as you started working with them, how did you kind of adapt to that?
Yeah. So when we said we're going to start working on sales, we just declared to the heavens that we were going to start working on sales. And thankfully we got some really great mentorship in Madworks, and they were like, what does that mean? Like, you need to pick the real question that they asked that was a great question for us to really start that search on was, okay, you've identified sales. Who in sales would you say no to as a customer? And we looked at each other like, I don't know. And we came from that meeting with a really big, with a really big lack of identity. And whenever I'm like in a funk like that, I'll go like do a workout or something. And so I was a member at Crunch Fitness in West Madison at the time. And so I went there, and as I was walking in, I just remembered hearing in the back of my mind, one of my friends who works in fitness saying, Colin, gyms are like 90% sales. And so I'm like, okay, well, maybe these guys at the front desk are people to talk to. So I just started chatting one of them up, and we basically had this like 30-minute long conversation where I really got a good understanding of how like gym sales works, right? And so then he was like, you should go talk to the personal trainer over there, because they're a different type of like sales here. Like, I'm the front desk sales selling for the gym. They're doing personal fitness memberships over there. And so I did. And long story short, after those kinds of conversations, we figured out, no, we're not for gym sales because they're much more marketing heavy. They're B2C, right?
And in Chicago, where I was looking, it's a lot of foot traffic, less, sales skills. People are usually walking to the gym and are like, I'm ready. I'm ready to buy a membership right now. So not much of a sales conversation there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So like we just got on the phone, and like within like a day, we like had talked to like probably cumulatively 6 or 7 gyms, and then by noon the next day.
Yep.
And then I was driving by some car dealerships, and I was like, hey, I wonder if this would work for car dealerships. So then we just started walking into like car dealerships and talking to people like on the ground floor, like, hey, how are you trained? What was training like for you? And so through that iterative method, we began to like refine who we're not for, and we're not for car dealerships.
Yeah.
Right. And then we began to develop ideas of like us asking a question and then getting the response that we may or may not have seen or expected. And then from that just bubbled up like who our target market actually is within sales, and how those organizations work is just through asking people. And people are really like open.
Yeah.
Like if I ask you about your life, just like you're asking us about ours, like you just talk to us. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. What do you want to know?
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
So I find it really interesting because a lot of times in like tech startups or software, they usually just like try to do things like online or over Zoom or over Microsoft Teams or whatever. But you guys like, no, we're going to like show up in real life and like talk to these people, like where they're working, and just see what's going on. Were there any other ones? So you said gyms, car dealerships. Were there any other that were like, where you kind of showed up in person just to see?
So from that, no. But because from that, we were able to extrapolate out lessons. So like gym memberships or anything that's marketing heavy, that's not something that working on your sales conversations would be that good for, because let's say you're working retail, right? Like that's another one that we're not for, is like retail sales. It's like you get probably hundreds of at-bats a week on those sales, right? And it's really marketing heavy. It's very price sensitive. Like your sales conversations are more just knowing what your product is, not doing like a cold call, cold outreach, doing a discovery session, asking questions back. Mm-hmm. So like the higher the price of the product, that's where you start getting into, okay, I get less at bats and my sales conversations become more and more valuable.
As well as the complexity of the skill, I think Colin is referring to. Yeah. It's got to be something where, the skill in selling has to be there, and you need to like hone in on that skill to be able to, get those sales.
Today's episode is brought to you by Headway, a digital product agency based in Wisconsin. Do you need to design and build a world-class user experience for your software, but feeling like you just can't get there on your own? That's where Headway comes in. We're the folks who help ambitious startups and enterprise teams bring their product ideas to life through design, development, and product strategy. We don't just give you user interface designs and leave you to figure out the rest. We work with you and your target customers to create beautiful user experiences, build scalable design systems, and provide Silicon Valley level talent to get it done right the first time. Whether you're launching a new software or just looking to add features, we've got your back. We've worked with startups in industries like logistics, healthcare, fintech, and edtech, helping them solve their biggest software challenges. And here's the thing, no matter how complex your product is, we can help you gain clarity and get the job done together. We're so confident that we'll be the right fit that we offer a 50% money back guarantee if you don't think we're working out within the first 45 days. Ready to see how we can help you and your team? Just head over to headway.io and book a free consultation today. I actually am curious about, how has it been building a company together, the co-founder relationship? Obviously you're dividing responsibilities from a technical side, and then I'm assuming you're sales, marketing, I mean, I'm kind of curious, like how you're balancing all that right now.
It's pretty meshed. I don't think at the moment we have the luxury to split out and deviate purely CTO activities and CEO activities or sales activities. So we dabble in both, really. Colin's really proficient at coding. I can make sales as well. But we're slowly realizing that we're trending towards a point in which we will have to truly deviate, just because there's a lot of product requests, there's a lot of sales that needs to happen. So
yeah. Is there like, do you guys have like a line drawn? We're like, oh, when we hit this line, that's when we need to like get a third person, or
not really. It's just kind of gut checking every week. We've kind of been talking about it in our stand-ups pretty much every like Monday to just gut check to see if this week do I need to delve more into coding than marketing or sales. Should Colin do the opposite of that? And some weeks it's 50-50, other weeks it's 100% one way, 100% the other way. Yeah,
I think that's great. It sounds like a really healthy co-founder relationship, to be honest.
It's working so far.
It seems like oh, you just adapt to each week. Hey, I'm going to work more on this. Or like, hey, actually, I'm kind of stuck with this. Could you dive into this for me? I feel like it's kind of like you said, it's like a gut thing.
Yeah, I gotta say, I'm pretty grateful. Not a lot of co-founder pairs have both people that can code, so it's really unique situation with Colin.
Yeah. Like in our Madworks cohort, I think there's 4 like tech companies, and there's 2 others where one of the founders is not like diving into the code with the CTO, and I count myself lucky as well. Yeah. Like also being able to have Nati, who has a very technical background, but also has really great like sales instincts and marketing instincts. Just being able to like kind of bounce off of like an equal,
for sure. Yeah.
The ideas that we're talking about, and I think it really makes the conversations just way more fruitful, instead of like hey, I'm gonna like, this is what the customers are telling me, like, when are you gonna get it done, Nati? Like, let's get in the dungeon. Like you're gonna go in the coding dungeon. That's thankfully we've got the skills to be in that sort of area, and also we use AI coding tools as well, like Cursor. Even though we both know how to code, it's been amazing. It's been the best thing we've ever done.
What do you like most?
Just that it does your work.
Like it's like the time to market for product features or debugging is just so quick. It really helps that we know how to code and just have that underlying logic so that we can leverage a tool like this really efficiently. But it's like almost like having another employee that does like the groundwork for you.
Yeah. Is there anything that's like weird about it or quirky where like, I wish you didn't do that, or like where you keep having to clean it up?
If you're not careful and you like tab too many times, you might get something that you didn't expect in there. So you gotta be, I don't think we're there where you can just like one shot entire features, but having that manual review is pretty good.
Yeah. Cause I've heard, mixed things. Like if you have a technical background, you can do a lot more with it because you understand what to request or what to look for. Like, oh, that's kind of weird. Let's change that. So obviously like it's powerful in general, like for anybody. But I was just kind of curious from your perspectives, like how it's been. So
yeah. To put it in perspective. So that, I had this paradigm explained to me like really clearly, by, I think it was, I'm blanking on the name, is the CIO of UW Credit Union. And he said that for high skill positions, AI, like the benefit you get from AI is that the more skilled you are in that high skill position, the more effective you are with AI, and the less skilled you are in that high skill position with an AI, you're less effective. Whereas with a lower skilled position, like let's say now, customer service does have like a lot of, knowledge to it, but it's not one of those like you have like a highly like a high skill like coding. It's the opposite. It lifts the lowest skilled or least experienced people up, and the people who are the most experienced, they're just like, I could use it, I don't need it, but That's kind of the paradigm so it's like a downward sloping curve for low skilled positions and then a upward sloping curve for high skilled positions. Yeah.
Any other tools besides Cursor that you've been enjoying, I should say? Even for other aspects of the business, like obviously like for code, that's very helpful.
I think we're just really fortunate for most things regarding the back end accounting and whatnot. Taxes, everything's just kind of plug and play these days. You don't really do manual filing. Although I think you may have done a bit of manual filing for taxes. Yeah. But there's a lot of vendors out there and they're pretty cheap. So I think we're pretty lucky.
Yeah. Notion. We use Notion. We use Apollo for like lead gen.
Clerky for our legal tax and whatnot.
It allows you to incorporate your business pretty cleanly. So
I actually wanted to ask about, because you brought up the accelerator a couple of times, Madworks. What made you guys decide like, yeah, let's go through Madworks, or obviously did you apply anywhere else? I'm kind of curious, like how Madworks has been for you as an overall experience. So
yeah, it's been really great. I guess just to step back in time, we applied to a lot of accelerators, mainly YC, which is like the staple for startups. Didn't get in for really clear reasons, thinking retrospectively. But Madworks has been great. I think what we really needed this entire time was mentorship. I think we have a lot of the instinctive capabilities of founders. I think we told the story of like walking door to door. So we've got that type of things. We've got the technical background, but it's like just being level-headed in our decision-making and having someone to bounce ideas off of. I think that's what we're really getting a lot of value out of Madworks with.
Nice.
Yeah.
Awesome. How about you? How do you feel about it?
I like it. Yeah, I like it a lot. I think Nati really pretty much hit it on the head. Yeah.
Cool. Well, what's next? Are you guys looking at anything else after Madworks, or maybe just different mentorship after that? Or how do you, I guess, kind of curious?
We're still applying to other sorts of accelerators where so the way Madworks works is that you go through the program, they don't take any equity, and they give you a $5,000 grant. So the money's great, and we're happy that no equity is taken out for the $5,000. But we're still open to accelerators and getting other sorts of investment. It's just at this point demonstrating traction and getting more sales. So
how do you guys feel about just the Madison startup community in general? I'm just curious, like, what do you like about it? We'll just start there. Like, what do you like about it?
Yeah, really tight knit. Like I knew before our podcast started, all the names you dropped of who you're going to be talking to in Madison, knew them right off the bat. So it's really nice that way. It can feel like if you go to an event where there's like a big, once you meet everyone though, like you're seeing the same people, at a lot of the same events, which is nice. It's a great way to catch up. But if you're looking for like, networking opportunities that could lead to sales, you might want to, also go to other conferences or events, even across the state, like go to Milwaukee, or Green Bay.
I'd also add that everyone's so friendly. I don't think we've ever been like ego checked by anyone.
Yeah.
It's usually like, oh, this doesn't fit for me, but I know a couple people I can send your way. And it's like, oh, that's so great. Like, and just some anecdotal evidence that we've had from down in Chicago. I think Madison's way better. You would think Chicago's like absolutely thriving, but at least the places that we've visited and networking events we've been to, it's been a little dead.
Interesting. Yeah. Okay. What do you feel like is missing in Madison? Like, what do you wish? Like, oh, I wish we had more of this, more of that.
I think the ideas are there. It's just because we're right next to UW-Madison, R1 institution. You've got some really great programs related to data science, comp sci, life sciences. Tons of patents coming out of there. The one thing that I wish we had more of was capital. We're very capital poor, and the risk tolerance too. I think it could be related to just how much capital or how little capital there seems to be. but the risk tolerance is very low. So high risk tolerance, more capital. If that comes to Madison, like that'd be big.
And I would add maybe some more visibility, like what you guys are doing to the success stories, so that, it gets out there that this is something that is possible in Madison. And just another point here is like more mentorship by those people that have had successes. And I think Madworks is a great starting place with those mentors.
Yeah. Nice. Yeah. These are things that we're trying to learn more about, and like just to hear from founders, like, okay, we're definitely trying to figure out, like, for mentorship with Startup Wisconsin, we want to try to figure out a formal/informal mentorship program. Like, how do we get people connected? Because there might be, like you were saying, in Madison specifically, there might not be the right kind of mentor for somebody, but maybe they live in Milwaukee, or maybe that mentor lives in Green Bay or lives in Minneapolis, or wherever we can get them connected to, like, for the right mentor for that type of person and the type of industry they're trying to build in or whatever. So there's a lot of opportunities there. So yeah. What about do you feel like just the state of Wisconsin in general, do you feel like you're supported as a startup founder, or do you feel like there's opportunities for improvement there?
Yeah, I think since the second that we declared we're a startup and told one person about it, we went to our first event in August of last year. I think it was Founder Fest, Forward Fest. And from the moment we said that we were a startup, it didn't matter what our idea was. And our idea at the time was completely incomprehensible to us. So I can imagine how everyone we told it to felt. But they just kept trying to help you out. Like, help you out. You should go talk to this person. You should go talk to that person. And like, the network is word of mouth at this point. It's not like, go to this website and figure out, like, you'll get like a play-by-play of what to do. But if you just like, if you're someone with an idea in Wisconsin and you are like, where do I start? Like, just pony up the like $25. It would be to go to something like Forward Fest. I know they're doing it in August, or a Wisconsin Technology Council event, and just start talking to people about your idea. And nobody, like Nati said, nobody's going to ego check you and be like, oh, well, that's not anything. That's just an idea. It doesn't matter. And if you have just like the wherewithal and grit, you're going to be able to turn that idea into reality.
Yeah. Did you look online at all? I'm just kind of curious, like, what, obviously Madison, you were like either through the university or just obviously Forward Fest, but did you like do any like online searches for other resources or anything like that?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I think quite a bit when we started. And then to Colin's point, I think we quickly realized that the more we get out there and start talking to people, the people that we want to be in contact with are usually there. So just finding those resources.
Yeah. I want to ask, like, what's something that you're excited about? Like, it's either on the roadmap or just looking forward, with Syrenn and things that you're working on with it. Just kind of curious, what are you looking forward to?
Yeah. So I think business wise, we've just gotten our first B2B customer. So that's great. But, finding that momentum to continue on. I think we're both excited about potential reseller possibility. Just having other vendors sell our software. So sales trainers, to be specific. I think we're pretty excited about where that could lead.
Mm-hmm.
Early stages though. So,
interesting. It's like a distribution effect, basically.
Exactly.
Got it. That's cool. That's a good move. Nice. Yeah. Is there a specific industry that you find that the sales training's happening? Because you're talking about automotive, and then you were talking about the gym, but where's sales training happening in that perspective?
Yeah. So through our learnings, I think we found that the sweet spot is B2B SaaS. So other, tech type vendors who have complex sales processes that their sales reps need to be masters at, or complex products. So yeah, that sweet spot between complexity and the amount of work that goes into making a sale.
Yeah, I'm super pumped about the reseller program. And then on the product side, just we're really gonna begin to make some really big things happen with Syrenn. So I can't really say what we're planning on doing, but just really excited to see like this vision coming true, and having actual customers and clients to talk to is huge, because you're already validated, you're bought into using this. So your opinion matters more than every Tom, Dick, and Harry that you'll ever meet until you're talking to another customer, right? So it's just great to have that.
I mean, just reflecting on your own experience the last few years, what's something that you wish you knew, when you started, like that now retrospectively thinking about it as a founder, what's something that you wish you knew sooner that would have been like, why did I waste all my time doing that? I should have just did this instead.
There's so many.
That's a great question. It's like asking someone like, I watched a YouTube video yesterday, and it was a guy who went, I think he was in Central Park or somewhere around New York. And he asked people 0 to 100, what's your biggest regret in life? And it's a very similar question. And a lot of people said, I have no regrets, because like I've learned from all of my mistakes, and I don't want to take that stance. So I think like I am happy for the path that I've taken, and you never know where your life would have gone if you hadn't taken all of the moves that even the worst move in history, or in your history, has brought you to this place. And so regretting that, it's like, are you happy on the path you're on now? It's like, I might not be on this path, but I think for me, it was in college focusing way too much on grade point average and not enough on like doing projects that I actually thought were interesting, because I was very interested in things like economics and computer science, but I didn't take courses on. I took very few courses on those. But my major was like pre-med, which was the path I was on. And so doing the pre-med track and just being this hyper competitive pre-med student, who's so focused on grade point average instead of like having a realistic view of the world. And, the world's not your GPA, right? Like your GPA can be as high as possible. Doesn't mean you're going to like yourself with that GPA. You know what I mean? So that's probably mine. Yeah. Just working on more projects.
Anything yet? Yeah, I think I do. I think I've learned this along the way, but it's just asking for help. A lot of people are really eager to help you. You just got to be assertive enough to ask for help. And it's taken a while to figure that out. But we're here now, and, really appreciative to everybody that's been willing to answer my calls, really. Yeah.
Yeah. It kind of brings me to this last one. Any shout outs or thank yous to people that have helped you, obviously with Starting Block and Madworks and stuff, or any specific people that you just like super grateful for over the last year or two?
So many. Susie Uncle, Beth Ott. Man, there's so many. Just everyone at Starting Block.
Yeah.
Obviously family and friends.
Yeah.
Really held us down. Lots of ups and downs.
My wife putting up with this startup for so long.
Yeah. And, folks like you guys, really helps get the word out, as well as build up the network.
Yeah. So how do people find out about Syrenn? Where do they go? Where can they learn more if they're maybe curious about being a customer, or just, learning about what you do so they can spread the word too?
Yeah. So you can follow us on LinkedIn. It's SYRENN. Or you can go to syrenn.co to just look at our website. You can try out a role play for free. You can get like a free trial for 2 weeks. And this is right now, you can get that. So interesting. We might be reducing that, but yeah, that's where you can do that.
Awesome. Well, cool. Awesome. That's all I got. Congrats. Awesome. Thanks for coming in, guys.
Yeah, thanks so much.
Yeah, that's all good.
Yeah. How did we do?
Yeah, you did great. Yeah, this is perfect. Thanks for joining us on the Startup Wisconsin podcast. Want to support the show? Don't forget to subscribe and get updates. If you're feeling generous, you can share, rate, and review our podcast to help others find us. All right, folks. Until next time, let's keep moving Wisconsin forward.